whether it's paranormal, not paranormal, misidentified, something wrong with the structure. I mean, at least you could see that your effort is going into something. Not saying the people that go into those other places aren't getting an effort for what they're doing. Don't misunderstand me. But I rather work with the homeowners and stuff, to be honest. And as far as the bucket list goes, yeah, I mean, I've never really had any real hard thought about going to some place just because it's a place. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It makes complete sense. I enjoy going to places that are known haunted locations
Hmm.
simply because I feel like it's a good way to learn to use equipment, to learn how to, well, to learn how to understand equipment,
Yeah,
and
I can
even
see, going to train, do
for
some
training.
equipment training.
Hmm.
If you're working with equipment that's, that you're trying to see if it will become good equipment to use. The prototype stuff. Yeah, I can see going into some place that's got a reputation. And trying a medium out there to see if you can pull up information that hasn't been researched. And that's yeah, and that's another thing too, as far as working with mediums. I use them as a tool. I don't use them as the investigation. So I've seen a lot of groups, that's what they do. I mean, they get it, they go in, they get an impression, and they base their investigation around what the medium is thinking, and try to pull evidence to prove the haunting. That's in my opinion, that's just bad investigation.
Well, it's
You
backwards. I mean,
No, it
because
is.
you should be
You
getting
yeah, you let the evidence drive what's going on.
right.
You know, and it's just because you have a witness there. I mean, you use that to place in your investigation to see what they experienced, not try to prove that. Well, she saw the ghost here. Let's see if it's here. Well, no, you got to figure out what the heck's going on to even know if it was a ghost.
Well, yes, because there's all kinds of environmental situations at play. There's all
Exactly.
kinds of other things at play, and if
Exactly.
if
Exactly.
I say that something is happening, then I'm not going to tell anyone really until I have validation.
Well, see, I'm the
I'll
same way. I've told you about my experiences.
right.
Uh, but that's me telling you. In an investigation situation, I'd rather throw a camera on it, or use a
Always.
tri-field or something like that to try to validate not only what I've seen, but to see even if it's something. I mean, I could talk all day on stuff that I've experienced, and I don't expect everybody to believe what I say because healthy skepticism is a great thing.
Yes,
I have no problem with that. Question me away. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. You know that.
I do. And one of the things since you brought it up, the tri-field, I have so much trouble with the tri-field. I don't know why. It's just the
Well,
hardest piece of equipment for me.
well, are you using a tri-field natural or using a tri-field?
A
Tri-
tri-field.
okay. Well, in all honesty, tri-fields and tri-field naturals aren't really supposed to be used as taking them around. You'll have better luck carrying a tri-field. Tri-field naturals are very, very you need to put them on paper, let them settle in, and you get your readings from there. I mean, they can pick up lightning strikes.
Right.
So, those, like a tri-field natural, you really don't walk around with. And I use a tri-field natural when I'm interviewing to see if anybody, if I've got a poltergeist case that I'm working on, I want to see who's manifesting. So as I interview, I interview with key words to see if I can pull out the emotion from the person to see if they'll manifest, to see if the tri-field natural will go off. And no, I'm not yelling at them or anything like that when I was saying, to try to pull out emotion. I just go back through what the witness of what they saw. I
Right.
have them recount it, and you can tell usually by when they restate it. You can tell if they're manifesting or not. And just because they're manifesting doesn't mean that they're manifesting what they saw. That also means that they're manifesting because of their emotion of what had happened, and that could possibly be triggering the poltergeist activity in itself. So now, out of the whole team that I have, and I have a lot of great folks I work with. I'm the one that's usually sedimentary, not because I'm a big guy, but I'm the one that observes. I'm the one that interviews. I'm the one that monitors the area for with air ion counters and tri-field naturals and FLIR and all that other stuff. So I'm usually the one sitting in one place watching what's going on to see how people react and how families are and the family dynamics and all that other stuff. The other folks are the ones that I usually get with them and tell them where we need to go, what we're looking for, and they usually just go and do their thing.
Well, when you get into that situation where you have someone that you feel is manifesting and the activity is beginning, as a rule, other than the poltergeistic activity that comes out around them, do they have other behaviors that would lead one to believe? I had an instance where it was an adolescent female who was also a cutter, and she was well covered, so she was trying very hard to hide that she was cutting, but the angst that leads to the cutting was also creating the poltergeistic activity. Do you often see those, like there's more than one type of manifestation of these things?
As far as what manifestation? What do you
like her cutting is a physical manifestation of
That's a physical manifestation. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that's a physical manifestation of poltergeist activity.
Well, no, but it is of the angst.
Yes, that's a definite. That's a physical. That's physical activity of the issues that's causing the angst to make her do that. Yes. So, but having her cut because of poltergeist activity,
they're separate. Okay. I mean, they're separate things, but they're both manifestations of
I misunderstood. I misunderstood how you're asking.
That's okay.
Okay, so yeah, I could see if I could see if she could be manifesting through the angst, which is being triggered by whatever's happening in her environment. That could be causing poltergeist activity, along with the mental issues that are causing her physically cut. So yeah, the two things, that can happen. And I've had, I think if I'm mistaken, I think I had dealt with a cutter at one point, and they were seeing a counselor, and they pretty much had it under control, except for in case. But she had been raped by a stepfather, and she was having problems with the boyfriend at the time. So the wife's boyfriend at the time. So every time that they had issues, they would have manifestation happen at the house first, and she was cutting. Yeah. Okay, I remember that case now. I had put her in a chair and kind of helped her get through her anger with her stepfather, and I'd worked with her counselor. Her counselor would tell me what she was doing to treat her, and it would advise me the route that she felt that we needed to go, and then I would react towards what the counselor is saying, and then I would work with her on it. So between the two of us, we pretty much had her under control, and the poltergeist activity stopped.
Well, that's good to know, because in this instance,
I'd forgotten about that case.
Well, when I knew that we were going to have a chance to talk, that was a case that had really proven difficult for me to wrap my head around, because I knew that those two things were separate entities, but I also knew that they were both extreme behaviors resulting from something very strong that had happened.
And it's very upsetting too, because the child is in duress, what she's doing, and and it is frustrating sometimes that, you can't help one thing, but maybe if you can help the other, maybe you could ease it. I mean, I hate when kids have issues like that. I mean, it breaks my heart.
It did mine too. And that case was probably my breaking point with that group I was with, because at that point, the guy who was over that team was angry because I was talking to this girl. And I didn't understand that, because if I'm there to investigate, then I had noticed that she wouldn't come into the house while we had equipment in there. She didn't want to be around any equipment. There were other things that were going on that were just like obvious to me that she was if she wasn't, then she was feeling like she was the root cause of the problem, and she didn't want documentation of that. So, I just felt like if we could help her to, get her some help, then we would be a step in the right direction towards solving the activity in the house. And, so I just directed her to, it's really my favorite organization is To Write Love on Her Arms. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No, I'm not.
It helps people who have self-mutilation and self-harm issues.
I'll have to look into them.
Yeah, but it's TWOLHA, and that's their Twitter at TWOLHA. And they've done so much work in such a little time, but I think it's beautiful.
That's good to know that there's folks out there like that.
Well, it is, because with what we do, we run into situations sometimes that lead to those behaviors, such as we both had that particular situation come up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, man, that was wow. That was about 8 years ago.
You're welcome.
That would hurt.
And I just hit my mic, so sorry about that if I burst your eardrum. But
okay.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and go to our break. This is a 2-minute break, and we will be back on the flip side of this, because this is great. I don't want to get started again and not be able to finish a thought. So enjoy. This is one of my favorite pieces.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
And I do want to let people know that the music that we play here, some of it's weird, some of it's fantastic, some of it, like that one, kind of takes flight through it, is often Purple Planet music. And I am so appreciative of them. They do podcast-free music, and while we are live, sometimes we're Memorex. So, thank you very much for making that available. So, Pete, This is our last
Yeah.
segment. I can't believe 2 hours has flown by like this almost.